Hello, I'm Hannes. I'm the executive producer of Cursed Mountain. Today I'm going to tell you what opponents, enemies and encounters Eric is going to face in Cursed Mountain. Who or what is Eric Simmons actually fighting against? Eric has to face several threats in Cursed Mountain, the first of which is the mountain itself, Chomolonso, which local people call the Sacred One. High altitude climbing is very dangerous. A lot of mountaineers do not return from the expeditions and remain up there. Eric has to stand the bitter cold and wind, blizzards as well as lack of oxygen in the upper heights called the Death Zone. All of these extreme weather conditions are part of Eric's fight up to the summit. Beyond the elements, Eric will encounter creatures that will make it difficult for him to decide whether they are real or consequences of high altitude sickness and lack of oxygen. Eric realizes on his way up to the summit that these souls are ghosts of dead local people, climbers, and monks from monasteries along his trail. All these enemies are stuck in the bardo due to the curse that was spread throughout the whole region. All these ghosts are based on real-world references, like typical farmers from the Himalayas, or climbers equipped with mountain gear from the 80s. These people follow their daily routines, as some of them don't even realize that they're actually dead. The curse came into effect exactly the moment when those people died, and especially the Western climbers have no clue what's happening to them. The monks, though, are even more angry and aggressive, as they realize what's going on and feel helpless in the state of bardo. For this reason, monks are higher level enemies and won't interfere with the player at the very beginning. Last but not least, very typical for a level-based game, Eric has to defeat several bosses. These bosses are based on Tibetan and Buddhist mythology, but are all fictional, a combination of various influences and religious creatures and gods. All of them are very powerful and show the violent as well as destructive force that also exists in Buddhism. In order to defeat these enemies, Eric has to use mantras, prayers and gestures that the player has to perform with both arms. We will open the player's body language, forcing him to face his fear while fighting the enemies with these gestures. Doing so, the player will be pulled even deeper into the atmosphere of the Tibetan mountains. In Lando, the city Eric starts his rescue mission, he finds Frank's ice pick. Due to the spiritual connection between the brothers, Eric realizes that this mountain gear is very special. Frank has performed an ancient ritual which gave the ice pick special powers in order to resist and defeat spiritual enemies. During the game, Eric will find more artifacts that power up the pickaxe, offering various kinds of attack. After reducing the opponent's health to a certain limit, a special finishing move is available. Frank is able to defeat the enemy performing a mantra, a Buddhist prayer, with gestures of both arms. Based on the enemy's level, each ghost class requires special prayers and gestures, which are more or less complex, depending on the enemy. Throughout the game, Eric meets several NPCs who introduce him to the mythical powers of Buddhism. He will learn to use mantras to protect himself and to understand what really happened to his brother Frank. That was a brief overview of the enemies and the combat that await you in Cursed Mountain. Eric's way to the summit is filled with life-taking threats and dangers. Will he be able to find Frank in time?